Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Alden German. We're cutting into programming here for a tornado warning. This includes the communities of Madison and Hanover. This tornado warning is in effect here for about the next 30 minutes or so. It's moving to the east at about 45 miles per hour. We have meteorologist Christina San Juan and the Weather Center operating our controls. So Christina, if you could please put on a storm track for this for 45 miles per hour as it moves to the east. There's also a significant risk of hail with this. That would be right there along State Road at 250 where you see those pink and purple shades in there. That's where we have that concern for some potentially large hail. So a track on this would put it in Madison at 156. So pretty much right now, China at 157, Milton at 2 o'clock, and at Manville at 2:03. By that point, it'll be outside of our viewing area, but that's still the latest track on it. So if you're in Madison or in Milton, you need to be taking your tornado shelter precautions at the moment. Here's a look at our velocity product, our wind speed. This area right here that we're going to be watching for any potential tornadic circulation when you have those greens and reds very close to each other. Green is winds moving towards the radar. Red is wind speeds that are moving away from the radar. And a radar loop here of the last hour shows you that it's moving at a relatively quick pace, but as it continues to push off to the east, we're going to notice we're going to notice that track also include Midway, and again, Madison is going to be the main primary target here. Madison and including Ringwald. So this is in Jefferson County, Indiana. This is not Jefferson County, Kentucky. This is Jefferson County, Indiana. And it's this little area right here that we're going to be watching in particular. Christina, if you could use the cone track tool, kind of put it right there where we see that tightest couplet. It's really more so right about there of those reds and greens. And then we'll put that track on it to the east at 45 miles per hour. And another threat that we're facing with this is the potential for some golf ball sized hail. We've been talking about this severe weather potential since yesterday, as we could see these storms fire up and potentially turn tornadic with brief spin up tornadoes, and that's exactly the situation that we're looking at right now. So it's moving to the east at about 45 miles per hour. Madison, you should be taking your tornado shelter precautions right now. That's the lowest level, most interior portion of whatever room you're in, away from those outside walls and windows. Anderson Elementary School, some landmarks to give you an idea of where this could be. Here's Anderson Elementary near Madison, 2:01 p.m. There's the latest update that just went by too. Madison at 2:01 as well. Central School at 2:05. Manville at 2:09, and Brooksburg at 2:12 p.m. Again, this is for Jefferson County, Indiana, not Jefferson County, Kentucky, for this tornado warning. Meteorologist Christina San Juan is in the Weather Center. She's also keeping an eye on the National Weather Service chat. Christina, how long is this tornado warning in effect for?
Just one moment. I'm looking at the chatter here going on the National Weather Service Louisville page just to make sure that we have the latest information here. It's now at this point moving east at 50, and it is going to remain in effect. Sorry, I'm trying to pull this up until 2:30. So we have a half hour.
All right, so we have 30 minutes on that, and it's this area right here that we're watching the closest. This is to the north of Hanover near State Road 7, making its way towards Anderson Elementary School. So Anderson Elementary School, if you know anybody there, or if you happen to be in school and watching programming right now, go ahead and take those tornado safety precautions for your students in Anderson Elementary School. Central School should also be taking those tornado precautions as well. We'll turn back on our normal reflectivity and drag back up here to the north. You can see it does have a little bit of that classic hook echo shape, and it's this pink core right here as we get a new radar sweep moving in. It's this little pink core right here that's weakened just a little bit, where we could see some of that large hail up to ping pong or golf ball size in diameter. So Midway, you're probably seeing some of that heavy hail at the moment. Ringwald, you could also be seeing it, but the bigger concern is going to be to our south near Madison. Let's drag this storm up just a little bit, and we're going to be focusing on this little section right here, this little hook as we call it. That's a hook echo, and that's the location where we have the greatest concern for any possible tornado. Christina San Juan will get another track up on here in a minute, and we'll continue to let you know when we think this will be pushing into your neighborhood. Again, around Madison at about 2:05, and Anderson Elementary School, and a couple of minutes there at 2:01 as well. There has not been any confirmed report of a tornado. This is simply radar indicated rotation, but again, that is enough to warrant that tornado warning, which was issued by the National Weather Service. Some other landmarks for you to give you a better idea of where this storm is headed. Around Hanover College, pretty much right now, Crystal Beach Swimming Pool, and the next couple of minutes, the James F.D. Lanier Memorial, also at around 2:02, Cedar Cliffs Park at about 2:05, so those are right there on the Ohio River. And again, this tornado warning is in effect until 2:30. We are going to be on the air with you as long as we have this threat around, and the main concerns that we have with this is the potential for a tornado, in addition to hail up to the size of golf balls, and overall just some very strong winds. This is the region we're watching very closely here. What we're looking at is our Doppler radar wind speed. So this is telling us if there's any circulation in the atmosphere, and excuse me. This location right here is where we're watching for that potential tornado development, and that's why that tornado warning has been issued. Christina, if you could put this into motion, please, over the last hour, you can see how it's making that track on almost a due path for Madison. So if you are in Madison, if you're in Ringwald, if you're even in Milton, you should be in your tornado safe spot right now. Again, that's the lowest level, most interior portion of whatever room you're inside, away from outside walls and windows. If you don't have a basement, you can get into, again, an interior closet, an interior bathroom. Those are also good locations to seek shelter. We're going to leave the radar image right here for a moment. This is north of State Road at 256, making its way along, I believe that will be State Road 62 there. So near 256 and State Road 62, just to the north of Hanover, is where we have this little couplet, as we call it, for that possible area of tornado development. That's going to continue to push off to the eastward at about 50 miles per hour. Also looks like they just put out a new severe thunderstorm warning. We'll get to that in a moment, but the latest radar image is showing you that this storm is about to make its way into Madison. So if you are in Madison, you should be in your tornado shelter right now. It's the middle of a school day as well. Schools are also hopefully taking their tornado precautions at the moment, but this is a serious storm that you don't want to mess around with. Christina, let's take our query tool and let's analyze some of these wind speeds to get an idea of how strong some of these winds it could be blowing. This is going to be a little bit elevated off of the ground, so they're not necessarily going to be making it all the way to the surface, but we're seeing a pixel there of about 100 miles per hour. We saw another pixel there about 54 miles per hour, and that gate-to-gate shear of 113 miles per hour. So we are seeing some pretty strong wind speeds with this, so that's why we do have that concern for that tornado warning and that tornado warned storm. Let's pan the image to push this image to the west just a little bit there, and we'll put another track on, excuse me, to the east. We'll push it to the east a little bit. We'll zoom in just a little bit tighter too, and then we'll put that storm track starting right there where we have that tightest couplet, and we'll drag that out here to the Jefferson County line there in southern Indiana and get a view of what some of these other storm arrival times for us. So as she draws that track on there, we'll see it in Ringwald right now, Central School at 2:04, so a couple of more minutes there, but that's to the north. Thankfully, this storm is moving almost due east. Manville at 2:08, Bricksburg at 2:10 in the afternoon. This is also just to the north of Milton, but that tornado warning does include Milton, so I would go ahead and be in your safe spot. Hanover, this is directly to the north of you as well, along State Road at 62 in southern Indiana. I want to leave it on this view because this is what's going to really give us the idea of where that tornado possibly could be. This is just radar indicated rotation. This is not a confirmed tornado, but we do have that risk of severe weather for today, which is why there is a slight risk of that level 2 out of 5 risk for some severe weather, and that's what we're looking at right now.
Alden, confirmed tornado on the ground, Madison.
Okay, so this is a very dangerous situation. We now have a confirmed tornado on the ground near Madison, Indiana. If you are in Madison, you need to be in your safe spot right now. This is the middle of the school day. Students should also be taking their shelter precautions at their school right now. Do not go outside to try and look at this. Stay safe. Get down to the lowest level, most interior portion of whatever building you're in, away from outside walls and windows. This is now a confirmed tornado near Madison, Indiana, making its way eastward. Central School, you should be in your tornado shelter right now, or your students should be taking cover right now. Manville, this is arriving in your area in about the next 5 minutes and about the next 10 minutes in Brooksburg. This is just to the north of Milton. Milton, I wouldn't take any chances either. I would go ahead and be in your tornado safe spot. Christina, click on the reflectivity there on the right in our palettes, and we'll take a look at the regular radar view to see where we could also be looking at some of that strong hail potential, because there is the potential we could see some hail up to the size of about golf balls. So the tornado would be right about here in this area, just to the north of Hanover. Milton, you're on the southernmost edge of that warning, but Madison, you are the ones that are in the direct line of fire here of what's been reported as a confirmed tornado by meteorologist Christina San Juan. So that's why you need to be taking those tornado safety precautions at the moment.
I'm just trying to get you down to to road view here so we can get a little bit closer and let folks know if they are in the path of this confirmed tornado.
We're looking at Michigan Road right there. That looks like it's just to the east of downtown Madison. There's State Road 56. There's State Road 7 as well. There's also North Madison, which is probably experiencing some of that tremendous rainfall at the moment too. So this tornado warning is in effect until 2:30 in the afternoon. That includes Jefferson County, Indiana, and Tribble County, Kentucky. So it's taking on a bit of an awkward shape here with that warning. But nevertheless, if you are in that area, you need to be seeking those your safe spot immediately, as this has been reported as a confirmed tornado near Madison. This is right on top of Madison now, continuing kind of parallel to State Road 56. There's a US 423 running north to south across the Ohio River. Madison, take your tornado safety precautions right now. In fact, Christina, let's put on our debris tracker, please. We'll see if we have any confirmation of any debris with this. That'll be the correlation coefficient parameter. And as she brings that on, we'll be able to recognize if we could possibly have any debris. And if we did have any debris, I think it would probably be around this region right here, so near the Madison area. That's why that tornado warning has been issued until 2:30 this afternoon. Chris, actually, let's look at that radar motion here. I don't see anything that looks too concrete of a possible debris ball signature, but if it were to be, I think it's possibly just south of Madison at the moment, right there along the Ohio River. Christina, do you have any more reports over there in chat? Did I step off screen here for a second?
No, it was only confirmed by emergency management. They are, of course, continuing that tornado warning again until 2:30. At this point, still appears to be moving at 45 miles per hour. And not only the confirmed tornado, but also the large hail. We have golf ball size hail that's also been confirmed. That's on all the information that I can tell you at this time.
All right, and they've just put out a new tornado warning as well. This includes the town of Carrollton there in Trimble County. This is also until 2:30 this afternoon, and the storm has now really taken on more of that classic hook echo shape, a supercell thunderstorm as we call it officially, because you have that little hook right there that's over Madison. So Madison, I hope you're in your tornado safety spot right now. This is going to continue to move eastward. Brooksburg, you should be in your tornado shelter. Carrollton, go ahead and take your tornado precautions as well. Vive, that's something you should also be doing at the moment. Christina, this is still moving to the east at 50 miles per hour, so let's grab that cone tool. We'll put it right there on the bottom of that, right there in the center of that hook, and we'll drag that out as far as it can go, and we'll see what communities are going to be in the path of this storm here. But if you're in Brooksburg, if you're in Manville, Ringwald, Madison, and Milton, you should be taking those tornado safety precautions. You should be in your basement right now. now, go ahead and get down there as close as you can, as far underground as you can, and turn your TV on loud. In the event that you happen to lose power because of this storm, you can also stream us live on YouTube on our free WHAS 11 app. We are also streaming on Facebook. Let's pull out just a little bit more and redraw that track, please, Christina, and then we can really get an idea of what towns are going to be in the path of this storm, as we still have that very well-defined hook echo that has now moved just to the east of Madison, but it's making its way towards Brooksburg. Brooksburg at 2:13 p.m., so you have about 5 minutes to seek your tornado shelters. This does include any schools that are in the Brooksburg area. Craig, you'll also want to be taking those tornado precautions at the moment, as the storm is moving almost due eastward, so it should skirt just to the north of Carrollton. But if you are in Carrollton, don't take any chances. Just go ahead and get down to your safe spot at the moment. And this is a pretty well-defined hook echo shape here, Christina. So this is why we call it a supercell thunderstorm. We have wind that's moving in here. This little notch, that's indicating inflow into the center of that storm that's then being pulled upward. And the velocity signature here is somewhat impressive. It's not the tightest, but we have a couple of areas there where we could be seeing some rotation. I think the biggest area of concern is going to be right around here, just to the east of Madison, just to the south of Manville, as it continues to push eastward towards Brooksburg. So Brooksburg, you are going to be under the gun now for this warning and for this possible tornado, as we just got an update there with our debris tracker signature. And I don't see anything, again, that looks too definitive for any possible for any possible tornadic signature, but possibly a little something right there. I think that's going to be a bit ahead of the actual hook echo, but I don't see anything that definitively looks like a debris ball signature, as we would call it, which is a very good thing.
And just wanted to point out here, Alden, the additional tornado warning here also is issued until 2:30, so a good 20 more minutes or so. That includes Carroll County for folks around Carrollton, and I-71 in Kentucky between mile markers 39 and 53.
All right, so I-71 in Kentucky, that's going to be around the Carrollton area. As mentioned, the storm is moving almost due east, so that's good news if you are in a southern Trimble County, but we could see the storm take a little bit of a turn. That's why that tornado warning has been extended southward just a little bit. We'll go back to our regular reflectivity view here. This region is where we would probably have some pretty large hail up to the size of golf balls potentially, and you can also see that little hook right there just to the east of Madison. Let's pause it really quick, please. We'll go ahead and draw on another track here, as this is making its way towards a couple of other communities that could be in the path of this storm, particularly for Brooksburg. Brooksburg, this is coming straight east towards you. You need to be taking your tornado safety precautions right now. You have to remember there's a little bit of a delay with the radar, so it could actually already be closer to your area at the moment. And Manville, you're probably experiencing some torrential rain and possibly even some large hail with this, as we get another view of another brand new radar scan to move in. So Brooksburg, pretty much right now, it's going to be in your neighborhood. Don't take any chances with this. Go ahead and make it down to your safe spot. Craig, about 6 minutes later there at 2:18 p.m. Long Run at 2:21. Jefferson Craig Elementary School at 2:24 p.m. That's back here to my your right now. So those schools should be initiating those tornado safety plans. I know a lot of schools have already done some of their severe weather drills already this season, so that is good news. We are very, very early in the severe weather season. It's still technically winter until Saturday, so it's not unusual for us to see severe weather at this time of the year. However, it's not something that we typically have too often in March. So Brooksburg, you're the community I'm the most concerned with right now. This is still just a radar indicated tornado. It was earlier an observed tornado, but we have not had any other additional reports since then about this being an observed tornado. Christina San Juan will let us know if we do get any more visual reports on that. She's behind the screen here working on our radar, running the controls. As we look at our debris tracker again, I don't particularly see anything that looks too debris-like, perhaps something like this. Thankfully, this is a relatively rural area, so the more likely objects for a tornado to be picking up would be tree branches, but of course, we don't want it to affect any of our friends or neighbors that are living in those rural areas either, as this is almost right on top of the Ohio River right now. Let's put on our radar wind speeds, please, and we'll take a look at those to see what the hook is looking like. And yeah, that's pretty decent right there. That's the location we're going to be watching. So Brooksburg, be in your shelter right now. You have had ample opportunity to get down there to that tornado shelter. Craig, I would also be taking a close eye on this. Carrollton, don't take any chances in case the storm does take a turn to the south and southeast. You should also be in your tornado safe spot. But right now it's kind of straddling the Ohio River and the Indiana and Kentucky state line there as it continues to make its way to the east at roughly 50 miles per hour. Christina's going to put this into motion here. We'll leave that zoom level. That's a great zoom level, and you can see how that circulation is kind of tightened up just a little bit. So we could be seeing this storm do what we call cycling, which means it loses a little bit of strength and then it reorganizes itself, and we get another potential tornado to wrap around here. So it's that location right there that's just to the southwest of Brooksburg that we're watching for a potential tornado development. It was earlier reported by emergency management in Jefferson County, Indiana. I'm going to emphasize that Jefferson County, Indiana, as a confirmed tornado. They did observe it. We have not had any new reports since then, but you should treat this as if it is an actual tornado that is on the ground making its way into the Brooksburg area. Christina, do you have any new information?
Yes, so they are continuing that, of course, for the tornado that's been confirmed at least once whenever it was over Madison, but now, of course, is right over Brooksburg until 2:30. They have canceled the tornado warning for north central Trimble County.
Okay, that's good news. So north central Trimble County has had its tornado warning canceled. We'll go back to our regular reflectivity view, which has that tornado warning on it. And this is really an impressive hook echo structure here. Not really often that you see a structure this well defined, especially in the middle of March. But Brooksburg, be in your safe spot. It's this location right here that we're paying the closest attention to as that continues to push off to the east at roughly 50 miles per hour. Christina, if you could please put on another cone track for this and drag it to the east at about 50 miles per hour. We'll take it out as far as we can go and see what other communities are going to be in the path of this storm. So Craig, 2:19, about 5 minutes until this storm arrives in your general area. Jefferson Craig Elementary School at 2:24 p.m., Vevay at 2:25, Carson 2:32, Sanders at 2:33, and we're looking at Warsaw there at about 2:36. Now it's important to note with Carson and Sanders, you're not technically in this tornado warning, but this is still a strong storm and a dangerous storm that you should be keeping a very close eye on at the moment as it continues to march off to the east at about 50 miles per hour. It's on top of Brooksburg right now, so if there is any tornadic activity, you can expect that to be in Brooksburg currently. So please do not go outside. Christina's clicking around here trying to get an idea of what those wind speeds are going to be. And let's get in a little bit closer here. It's going to be this general area. So it's right on top of Brooksburg, which is sitting on the Ohio River, right on Kentucky State Highway 36. So it's in a fairly isolated location, but it's still going to be impacting Brooksburg. So please be in your tornado safe spot. We're kind of in an awkward spot now with the radar where it's showing you really low values of like 2 miles per hour or 5 miles per hour. But needless to say, we still have some pretty strong wind speeds here. And this couple, it doesn't look quite as strong as what it was before. But as I mentioned, we are kind of in an awkward spot with the radar, so it is possible that it's just not seeing this storm as well as it otherwise it could. But Brooksburg, stay in your safe spot until we give you the all clear. Manville, you're almost outside of the path of on the backside of the storm, so I'm going to go ahead and give you the all clear. But we're still watching the potential for some very large hail with this impressive looking thunderstorm that we have right now, as this is going to be moving just to the north or just skirting by Carrollton. So Carrollton, you go ahead and be in your safe spot as well in case this is this was earlier a reported confirmed tornado. We have not had any other sightings or confirmation that this is a tornado actively on the ground near Brooksburg, making its way along the Ohio River, southern Indiana, northern Kentucky there near Carrollton, but you should go ahead and be taking that very seriously. Vevay, you could be potentially walking into or having an area of some pretty intense rainfall in addition to some large hail rolling into your region too. There is the potential to see hail up to about the size of golf balls with this storm. So Carrollton, be in your safe spot. Brooksburg, you should still be in your safe spot at the moment. Craig, you should be in your safe spot. Moorfield, you are just outside of this tornado warning, thankfully. Along State Road 129, though, you're probably experiencing some very heavy rain or some large hail. In fact, it even looks like they just cleared off part of that tornado warning. So Manville, you are now in the clear, which is good news. Carrollton, you should still be taking your safe spot. Easter Day, you should probably be doing the same, although if it continues on its current path, it could be staying just to the north of you, which would be good. Let's put our radar wind speeds back on, please, Christina. We'll get a better look here, hopefully. It's still going to be this region right there. So we're seeing just kind of some broader rotation at the moment. We don't really quite have that really tight couplet that we had earlier, but nevertheless, there is still some very obvious rotation here with this storm. So that's going to be something that we're watching very carefully. It's just to the southwest of Craig, but Craig, you're still probably going to be experiencing some very strong winds as this gets ready to move past Brooksburg. Brooksburg, you should also stay in your tornado safe spot at the moment. Long Run at 2:23, that's their estimated arrival time. Switzerland County Middle School, that's outside of our viewing area, but you should also be keeping a fairly close eye on that too. And our debris tracker may be showing some hail for sure, some large hail, possibly picking up a little bit of debris there, but we have not had, please confirm, Christina, we have not had any additional reports of a confirmed tornado, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Do you have any other updates in the chat?
Unfortunately, I do not.
All right, so we're going to continue with this tornado warning here for the next 10 minutes at least until it clears out of our viewing area or until the tornado warning has been allowed to expire or canceled. Let's go back to our regular radar view here, the one that people are most familiar with, and we'll see this is really impressive up here along kind of intersecting there State Road 129 in southern Indiana, just to the south of Moorfield, making its way towards Mount Sterling and Vevay. That impressive hail core. That could be hail up to the size of ping pong balls or golf balls, which would cause damage out there. Moving around to State Road 56 as well, it'll be approaching that region just to the north of Long Run. That is tremendous rainfall, actually now including Long Run, as we get that latest radar scan that's maybe pushed this storm a little bit to the south. Let's pull out just a little bit, please, and we'll see where it is in relation to Carrollton. It's just to the north of Carrollton. It's still approaching Craig. It's this region right here which has weakened a bit. As we drag through this over the last hour, we can hopefully see some signs of weakening with this storm as it continues to make its way to the east. There it is as it passed through Brooksburg about about 5 minutes ago. And I would say that we're probably seeing some slight weakening with this. Would you agree, Christina?
It certainly looks like that couplet is not as tight as it once was when it was passing over the Madison area.
That's good. That's very good. And it was back in Madison when we got our first report of a confirmed tornado. So although we still have that tornado warning in effect for still the next 10 minutes, the circulation with it is a lot more diffuse compared to what it was before as it was passing through Madison. We really had those greens and those reds touching each other quite closely there, and it's lost a bit of steam as it continues to push to the east. But this is still a strong and a fairly dangerous storm, so something to not joke around with, especially when we had an earlier confirmed report of a tornado. So Carrollton, go ahead and stay in your tornado safe spot. It's just to the north of you. It's almost right on top of the Ohio River there, and it's continuing to push eastward at roughly 50 miles per hour, and that would eventually take it outside of our viewing area as well as it pushes into Switzerland County, and then that would be in the Cincinnati television market. Another track here, we're not seeing too many towns because this is a fairly sparsely populated area, which is good, of course, but still, we want you, if you are in the path of this storm, to go ahead and still take it seriously. Craig, you are narrowly missing out on some of that very heavy rain or possibly large hail, and they've also trimmed off some more of that tornado warning, but otherwise this is largely passed to the east of Brooksburg. Brooksburg, I will say that you're in the clear now. You're okay to come out of your tornado safe spot as this storm has continued to pass to the east of you. It's just to the north of Carrollton. Carrollton, I would go ahead and remain in that tornado safe spot for the moment. Easter Day, it's going to be getting a little bit close to you, but if it continues to weaken as it pushes eastward, it should miss just to the north of you. But another object of the storm that we're watching is that probably very large hail core that's falling just north of Craig, kind of bisecting State Road 129 there in southern Indiana, as we continue to see the storm hopefully lose a bit of strength as it pushes to the east. And this is not the only severe weather threat that we're facing for today, and in some way this is a little bit of an appetizer, because we could see more severe weather pushing in later on tonight in the overnight hours. We'll have Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine and meteorologist Colleen Peterson here overnight to keep an eye on that. My producer is telling me that we're also starting to get some photos in from viewers, so when those are ready, let me know and we can show those. This is currently, we're about to show this. This is near Hanover at the moment. You can see probably, yeah, that's definitely a wall cloud there, I would say. A little bit difficult to tell if there's any tornado because we have trees and homes in the way, but definitely a lowering on that cloud. This is a typical springtime supercell thunderstorm, so very interesting picture there. If you have any photos, you can text them to us at 502-582-7290, but please don't go outside currently if you are in this tornado warning or experiencing some of that large hail to get that photo. We want you to stay safe. You can get an after photo if you'd like, but don't put yourself in harm's way just for the sake of that image. Christina, let's loop this please really quick.
Sure, and then also I just wanted to tell our producer Megan, the email that we just received with that funnel, yes, I do believe that was actually touching the ground. We can go ahead and put that up there when you guys are ready.
All right,
and that was in Madison.
All right, so we'll get some more images here, some viewer-submitted images from Madison earlier when there was a reported confirmed tornado on the ground up there. Still don't have any updates out of the National Weather Service if they'll continue this warning or let it expire, although we're getting close to the time. It's 2:23 now when this storm will have to play itself out when it comes to that warning. But maybe seeing some new intensification there. It's not too often that we really see those bright pinks and maybe even a little bit of white. That's how we know there's probably some large hail associated with this storm just to the north there of Vevey.
Also, according to emergency management, unfortunately, damage has been reported throughout Jefferson County. Trailer flipped in Milton.
All right, so that's Jefferson County, Indiana. Reported damage now near Milton of a trailer being flipped over. Is that a mobile home or just a trailer? Did they specify?
It does not specify.
All right, so it's a trailer. Could possibly be a mobile home. That's obviously not a good place that you want to be in if there's a tornado, because tornadoes will flip mobile homes over very, very easily. So that's why if you are in a mobile home that does not have good shelter, try to find some shelter, a sturdy shelter where you can take some safety. And it looks like they've put out a new tornado warning there. Christina, can you point out what those counties are, please?
Yes, so that is Central Switzerland County, which of course is out of our area, but also includes Eastern Carroll County, Northwestern Owen County, and Gallatin County until 3 o'clock.
Okay, so that's getting close to being out of our viewing area, but we're still going to stick with you here as the storm has shown a history of confirmed tornadoes. This storm has produced damage near the Milton area back towards Madison. If you're in Brooksburg, you are in the clear now. If you are in Carrollton, you are also in the clear. Vevey, you should be watching out for some potentially very heavy rain and possibly some large hail to be coming with this as well. I'm going to step off the screen here for just a second as we put our Doppler wind speeds back on, and we're also going to show you some video here in just a moment too, or right now actually. So let's watch this video really quickly. You can perhaps see that funnel cloud there. That would probably be the tornado that's starting to come down, and that's what likely caused some of that damage that we were getting reports of out of Milton. Hopefully not extensive damage, but we are starting to enter into that time of year where you can see some of those fairly significant thunderstorms developing and producing tornadoes. So we're going to get in a little bit closer here. Vevey, you should be in that safe spot right now. Carson, this should be just to the north of you. This is right on top of the Ohio River, actually. So State Road 56 in southern Indiana, US 42 in Kentucky, also possibly State Highway 47 there in Kentucky as well. as this is getting close to exiting our viewing area. It's kind of straddling the line there between our viewing area and the Cincinnati region, but we're going to stay on this until it officially clears our region and moves into the Switzerland County area. But in the meantime, it's this pocket right here that we're paying close attention to near Vevey as it continues to push off to the east at roughly 50 miles per hour. Easter Day, this is to the north of you now. Carrollton, this is well to the northeast of you, so you are in the clear. Craig, you are also in the clear. Moorfield, you're in the clear. Mount Sterling, you're technically in this warning, I believe, but you're still probably experiencing some of that very large hail at the moment. But it's this core right there that I'm circling that we're paying the closest attention to, as we just got that new radar scan in, showing still a bit of a couplet there, maybe a little bit tighter than what it was, but certainly not as diffuse as it certainly was earlier either. So I do believe the storm has been cycling just a little bit. Christina, do you have any updates?
Yeah, so Justin, from Carroll County Schools, they are, of course, following tornado warning protocol at this time, and we're coming up on 2:30 right now, which, of course, is when a lot of children are letting out. So they are, of course, going to stay in their tornado warning shelters until this has been allowed to expire. The threat is no longer over, but they do plan on letting out on time, of course, after it passes through.
That's good information to know. So Carrollton Public Schools are taking their tornado safe spots, tornado precautions right now. They still plan to be letting out of school early, and this is why, kids, we practice these tornado drills, these severe weather drills. It's not very often you get tornado warnings during the middle of a school day like this, but it can happen, and when it does happen, this is a good opportunity to actually practice what you have been taught and what you've been practicing as well. We have another photo from Madison we're going to show you here in just a moment, showing more possible damage or those storm cloud images. As we see here, you can get that pretty strong lowering there. That probably is the tornado that was reported earlier as it was making its way across the region. What's unfortunate, though, is because of all those trees and the homes in the way, it makes it a bit difficult to actually confirm that's what we were looking at. We'll pop back over here to radar really quickly as Christina has switched back to our regular radar mode, and we're seeing where that strong hail core is probably is too. I don't recall, in my almost 5 years here, I don't recall seeing a possible hail core this intense in colors this brightly. We got a little bit of a very light pink or a bright white there along State Road 56 in southern Indiana. That was a little tough for me to read, near Vevey. Kind of looks like wings there. So long run, you just got done experiencing the worst of this. This is starting to push out of our viewing area, but it's still there in the northernmost tip of Carroll County, which is why we are staying with this. So Easter Day, you are probably going to just miss this to the north of you, which is good news, of course. The county line is right about there, so after it exits our viewing area is when we will get off the air here, unless they extend that new tornado warning.
And there's no talk about extending it for us.
Okay, that's good
for
news.
our area, that is.
That's good. That's very good. And we'll see this tornado warning drop off here in just about 1 minute, and that'll give us a better idea of where exactly that back line is, and there it goes. So there is a Switzerland County just there to our north. There's the county line for Carroll County. So it's getting ready to push out of our WHAS 11 viewing area. Then it will be in the Cincinnati TV market's area of responsibility. But in the meantime, we're going to stick here with you until this passes. It's right there along the Ohio River, seeing some tremendously heavy rain and some large hail. The good news as we look at our wind speeds is that it does not appear to be nearly as organized as what it was before. We're still watching this location right here in northern Carroll County, but it's getting ready to cross over the Carroll County line out of our viewing area, and that's good news for us, but we're still going to be keeping a close eye on that. Our wind speeds aren't too intense. We're seeing our gate-to-gate shear, which is just the speed difference of 2 pixels right next to each other to get for a minute. That's only around at 50 miles per hour, which is telling us that we have relatively weak wind speeds. Those are still fairly gusty, and those are also somewhat high up there in the storm. Our regular radar view shows us that we still have some pretty intense hail here north of Easter Day, northeast of Easter Day, which, by the way, you are going to be in the clear now, I will say, as you do not have any tornadic storms in your immediate area. And Christina, let's actually take a broad view here. We haven't done that yet. I just want to see if we have any anything else working its way into our region. And we don't really. This is the lone storm that we have far to our northeast. It just crossed Interstate 71 there, and we're going to see it push out of our viewing area here momentarily and then push into the Cincinnati market. But this new tornado warning, which does include parts of Carroll County, is in effect until 3 p.m. Eastern time for what had produced a tornado near the Madison area, and it caused damage. We'll have news crews working to gather more information on the significance of that damage. But you can see how intense that storm was earlier when it really had that strong defined hook, and now it has lost some of its organization, but it's still a fairly potent and healthy storm as it gets ready to exit our area.
Alden, you were talking about just how large and how bright that hail core that we're looking at that's right over Vevay. That tornado warning that's in effect until 3 o'clock that does, of course, cover Vevay is also for tennis ball size hail, if you can believe that or not.
Wow, tennis ball size hail. That will cause damage. That will knock out some windows. So hopefully your cars have been parked inside during this. Mount Sterling, you're going to be in the clear of this soon. Markland, you're about to experience some of that very large hail. So we're looking at now less of a tornadic risk and more largely of a large hail risk as this gets ready to push out of our WHAS 11 viewing area. And the moment we see that hail core exit our region is when we'll go ahead and end our coverage and return to regular programming. We'll be back here at 4, 5, and 6 o'clock, of course, with more information as well. But otherwise, as Christina, if you could pull out again, please, and we'll see a broader view. Outside of this storm, we really don't have much else going on. So it's just this lone storm that's been able to really feed off of this energy for a while that's allowed it to be so strong and so long lasting for that matter as well. In fact, we'll take a look at Futurecast here. This is at 7 o'clock. Things are still fairly mild in the middle 70s, but we'll be watching areas to our north for some more potential thunderstorms to redevelop to our north and back to our west. This is at 10 o'clock tonight. Notice as we head into around the midnight hour, we'll be watching for potentially strong line of showers and thunderstorms to be pushing southward as well. That will also come with the risk of some strong winds, some potentially large hail, and the possibility for some brief spin-up tornadoes like we've already experienced for today. As we go back to our radar image here, we're getting ready to see this hail core cross out of Carroll County and out of our WHAS 11 viewing area. One last time, Christina, I want to check out our Doppler wind speeds to make sure we don't see any signs of rotation as this pushes out of our area, and it's a lot more diffuse than what it was. So that's good news. That means the storm has really lost a lot of strength. There's the Carroll County line there. It's just to the north of I-70, making its way towards Kentucky State Highway 1039 at the moment. One last view at our normal radar image, and then we'll go ahead and sign off here for just a little bit. Markland, Warsaw are outside of our coverage area right now. Easter Day, you're also in the clear. Vevay, you've exited the worst of that hail, but as Christina was saying a moment ago, hail up to tennis ball sized. That is very large hail. There are already reports of hail up to the size of golf balls. So this is telling us that that storm really gained a lot of strength as it was beginning to push out of the area. So as this storm exits our WHAS 11 viewing area here in the next couple of minutes, we will go ahead and sign off and return to our regular programming. As a reminder, you can download the free WHAS 11 app to get free weather alerts to your phone at any time. If we do need to break in again sometime this evening or overnight, you can watch us live here on air on our free WHAS 11 app, YouTube, Roku TV, Apple TV, in addition to our social media platforms on Facebook. In the meantime, I'm meteorologist Alden German with meteorologist Christina San Juan for WHAS 11 News. We'll return you now to regular programming.